Shane Fitzsimmons has had one hell of a day because he's been the one in charge of how to fight all of these things in New South Wales. And I can tell you what, if you wanted to see... Now, I talked about this at the start of the show, and the Commissioner joins us now from his headquarters in Sydney. Commissioner, thank you so much for making time. I know it's crazy late after a crazy long day, so I really do appreciate that. Congratulations, frankly, on what's happened today.
Oh, sorry.
Because, mate, no, please. Congratulations on what has happened today, because, as I said at the start of the show, I am really pleased that at the end of the day we're having a discussion about the words and the language and about whether we were too concerned as opposed to where the hell were they, what did we do? Because here's the point, you never get enough credit when you are able to stop a disaster from happening as opposed to the heroic efforts of responding to one. But well done to you and your team today, particularly what happened on the North Shore of Sydney. There was a fire that popped up and was killed off within an hour. If that had happened on any other day, we'd be talking about that one taking dozens of homes.
And Paul, you're right. And I think what we've got to always do is differentiate between risk and potential and consequence. And today, credit to the Bureau of Meteorology, their ability to forecast, their forecast proved to be very accurate. We saw across Greater Hunter, Greater Sydney and the Illawarra, those catastrophic conditions were realised. Fortunately, though, they didn't stay around for the extended hours that were originally being thought. And up on the northeast corner of New South Wales, because of so much smoke from all the fires burning up there, the smoke smothered the northeastern area of New South Wales, which was awful for everybody living there. But what it actually did was insulate and serve like a blanket across all the fire grounds, so that when the wind was trying to get over the mountain range down in and influence that fire behaviour, it took quite a few hours to push the smoke out of the way before we started seeing the fires build up and escalate. We had something like, I was looking at the records just a minute ago, 300 new fires today that the collective effort of the firefighting operations got on top of, dealt with largely within a minutes or hours, and they stopped massive consequences occurring under what was otherwise horrendous conditions.
Well, again, one of the reasons I appreciate this chat right now is we are live on Sky News on Wind. We are deep into regional New South Wales, so we'll talk about particularly those areas with some specificity in the north. But just quickly, we just saw a little glimpse there of that purple foam or whatever it was that ended up getting dropped all over the fire and also some homes around Turramurra. Can I ask the dumbest of questions, but I'm the bloke here and you're the guy who actually fights the fires. What is in that stuff?
Oh, look, it's effectively, it's a phosphate. It's a fertiliser, but what happens is it's a powder that gets mixed with water and it forms a slurry. And what it means is the water and that slurry then bonds itself to the vegetation and retards its ability to catch fire and allow fire to spread through the vegetation. And the reason it's coloured red is that it's added with a dye, so that when we are dropping that retardant, and it doesn't always get dropped on the fire, often it's used as a fire break or a line to stop the spread of a fire. So it's often laid adjacent to the fire edge. So when the aeroplane drops the first load of red retardant on the ground, the next machine that comes in, or the second load that comes in, gets a really clear depiction of where the first load went. Because if we had no colour in it, they wouldn't see where the water went on the ground. So it helps you build a line and helps you get maximum and optimum penetration and line construction to help create, if you like, a barrier in the vegetation to impede or limit the ability for the fire to spread. It's most effective in grassland and shrubland where it can readily penetrate the canopy and get right through to the floor. It's not as effective in heavily forested country, or you need a lot of it in heavily forested country in order to penetrate and completely saturate the vegetation. But as you saw this afternoon, we also used it to directly knock down the fire flank and quell the intensity of that fire.
I'll ask one last question, but I appreciate you doing this for us, Commissioner. 85% of fires in Australia are lit by humans. 50% intentionally, because you can either prove it or you're deeply suspicious of it. The rest are done by accidents, and that, of course, means humans. Today, there's a story of a 9-year-old kid with a blowtorch who was given a caution by police because they lit a grass fire near Nowra. Let's be really straight. There's a lot of debate about why and how severe and all the rest of it, but 85% of all bushfires start because humans start them. what would you say to anyone who is foolish enough to do that between now and the end of summer?
There's a reason we put total fire bans, and look, it's fair to say the biggest cause of fires are man, woman and child. You're quite right. That doesn't mean they're all deliberate, they're all malicious. Clearly, a lot of them are accidents or negligence, which is why we put total fire bans in place. We want to limit ignitions when conditions are bad. It's why we've got the toughest penalties in place, because lighting fires deliberately, lighting fires maliciously with the intent to impact your community, to endanger firefighters, to endanger communities. It's a heinous crime. We've got the toughest penalties available. We've got the best police, the best investigators, and if you are going to do that, then you deserve to have the full weight of the law thrown against you, and you deserve to spend time in jail. How dare you threaten our men and women who are out there desperately trying to save their community and the communities of strangers, and how dare you put people in harm's way unnecessarily. We've seen in the last few weeks, fires are real business. They're deadly business. They're damaging and destructive things once they take hold in a landscape. How dare we contribute to that problem?
No, I agree completely. Commissioner, thank you. I know it's been a long day. No doubt a sleepless night and a busy one again tomorrow. Thank you so much, and congratulations again to everyone behind you, you in the centre, and everyone who's actually got their hands dirty too.
Thanks, Paul.
Good on you. Commissioner Shane Fitzsimmons is a good bloke, and I'm glad that he is there, and I'm very thankful to him being so available to us. How fascinating is that to actually hear what is inside all of that pink stuff, which is amazing.